Okay, in this part of the tutorial, we're going to focus on formatting our intercut lines. And what we want to do is that we want to convert these from single line segments into a series of dashed line segments, a series of individual dashed line segments. Okay, and that's very important because in origami you have mountain and valley folds, and in this case we usually use dash to designate mountain lines, and this is composed of all mountain lines, and we usually use dash dot lines to do valley lines, and this will become really important when we're doing our Pepakura workflow. But let us begin. I'm going to start by selecting all of these lines using the circle tool right here, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this up to the intercut layer, and I'm going to paint these blue, and I'm going to stroke them, give them a stroke weight of 0.001. And it's very important that you make sure that it's always dashed at 0.001 because that makes it a line segment. Okay, now while these are selected, I'm going to open up my stroke window, which is Control F10. Okay, and I'm going to click on this dashed icon right here, this dashed icon right here. And I'm also going to make sure that the box right here is align dashes to corners are selected. Okay, and here I have a 12-point dash, which is approximately a ½ inch dash line. And what I want to do, I want to look at these and I want to make sure that that dash line is large enough, because if you make this too small, the laser will be spinning an inordinate amount of time dashing these. So I'm going to select this again, and I'm going to change that dash value to 24. And I'll take a look at that. And that's a lot better. That's a lot better, especially given the size of this file. That's a lot better. And generally you want a 50-50 relationship between your dash and your paper, so that you have that left here. Now you'll note that when I click on these, I get a single line segment. When that happens, the laser cutter just sees that not as a dash line, but it sees it as a single line segment, and it'll just cut the whole thing. What you'll want to do is we got to explode these and make these a set of individual line segments. And this is how we go about doing that. We start out by selecting our intercut lines, and then we come up to Object, Expand Appearance. Okay, and you notice that it broke those down. Okay, we got to look at this again, and we come back up here again, and we do Object Expand, and we want to expand our stroke. Okay, we click on OK, and you note that two things happen. It converted all of these into single line segments, which is what we want. But over here, you notice that it flipped our fill and our stroke. Now, it's very important that you flip that back and you come up here to your stroke and change that to 0.001. Okay? And you have to make sure that you do that, because otherwise what it literally does, it creates a little box over here, and the laser cutter will cut these twice, which is not what we want. So let's take a look at this, and that's expanded really good. Those are all expanded, okay? And so now what we want to do, we want to make sure, and you note that they're also 0.001. Now we want to make sure that we don't have any duplicate line segments. And the way that we do that is that we select these again, and we do an Object, Path, Simplify. Object Path Simplify. And what we want to do, we want to change this to straight lines. Okay, and we want to turn on preview. Okay, and what we want to do, we want to adjust the angle threshold up to about 170. Okay, and we want to make sure that we don't push it too far, or we begin to get objects falling out like that. And I think we did a pretty good job on this because it's actually showing more lines in the output than the original. I just want to push that up, so 180. I usually go at about 170. Okay, and I got all of my line segments there. And I can click on OK. And now these are all a set of individual line segments, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and so now this is actually prepared for laser cutting. I'm going to go over one more thing, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this file, and I'm going to do a file. I'm going to save it first. Let me save this, and I'm going to call this truncated _octa, and I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file. And you could actually print this from Illustrator. You can laser cut this from Illustrator right now, but I'm also going to do a file export. And I'm going to export this as a DXF file. And I'm going to keep the same title. And the reason why I do that is that I often use Rhino to do a last second check on everything to make sure that I don't have any duplicate lines, and also make sure that everything's okay. And often I'm paranoid. I often check with Rhino for that. So we can stop this here, and that's how you format your file for laser cutting.